And up on that fucking hill was a guard. My buddy had his binoculars, and he had his binoculars, and we were looking at him through our binoculars, and it was like, whoa. Well, this story holds a special place in my heart because there's really not another story I could think of I got like this. It's a story that takes place out in the desert, and the desert of Las Vegas. And if you're in the video field like I am, there's a event out there every year called NAB. National Association of Broadcasters, I think. And it's basically where all the major players, all these guys go out and showcase their new fancy equipment. All the future of video is there, and everybody's there to see what's going on. If you're in the video, it's like a giant playground. In a giant playground of Vegas, so it's a great place. One year, I was out there with a good buddy of mine, a fellow filmmaker, a really talented guy. But after 2 or 3 days of that, any trip to Vegas after 3 days is getting to be too much Vegas. And I had cocked up a plan that would take us out of the city and be something completely different. There, not 100 miles away, is the Air Force Base Area 51. And my buddy is big into UFOs, big into aliens. Like pretty hardcore. He goes to conventions and UFO hunting societies and actually hangs out with some pretty big names. I don't drop names on this show, but let me tell you, you've probably heard of them if you're into this stuff. So I thought it'd be a great fit for him. I'm not big onto aliens or any of that, but I'm not one to say there isn't any out there, and I'm always good on a good story and a little bit of a conspiracy, so I said this is going to be great. So 2 or 3 weeks before the big Vegas trip, I just go online and start doing all the research I can on this thing. And apparently you can get right up to the gates, the entrance gates. And it's pretty unreal because you get there, and up on top of the hill over here, there's actually a guard watching you with binoculars from the hilltop, making sure you don't cross that line. Because if you cross that line, you're in a world of pain. You may not come back. But I just totally immersed myself into this rabbit hole, looking up all of the legend, all of the alien stuff. The Roswell thing. Supposedly alien technology was taken to Area 51 and was reverse engineered and gave us all of this awesome technology like phones and GPS and microwave. Like some people can explain the rapid increase of technology in the 50s and 60s to the technology that they found at Area 51, or they reverse engineered anyway. Not even bringing aliens into it is a very interesting story. Just all the established actual facts that are there. I mean, there was all kinds of stealth technology developed there, all kinds of Air Force bombing planes done there. A lot of really important stuff to the Cold War and a lot more other interesting stuff too, if you choose to look into it and go down that rabbit hole. But I just dove into that rabbit hole and was looking up all the clues I could find to find this place, because there wasn't an established, really, a route to get there. There was only just kind of hints and just little nudges to kind of guide you there. And with all of those hints and tips, I kind of drew my own map, looked at Google Earth, just kind of saw where the base was and figured out the different landmarks people were talking about and kind of made a map. And I even drew out a hand-drawn map to make sure we had our way there. So one day we get out. We said, I had enough of this for a while. Let's take a break from all this big city action and head out into the wide open desert. And that we did. We drove out on my Ford Focus with some good old tunes playing, some desert music, some Truck Fighters, some Queens of the Stone Age, just blasting some killer tunes, driving out into oblivion. And further we drove, the further out we got away from all that noise and hustle and bustle, and made it up to the extraterrestrial highway, they call it. And there's a big sign. And once you get up around there, there's different landmarks. There's a lot of alien stuff, gift shops, and, you know, obviously playing on that whole thing. But once you hit that turn, you go out and it is just middle of nowhere desert. And it's beautiful. Almost like another planet. Almost alien, if you will. And at this point, our stoner rock metal theme of music had changed. Now we're listening to Tinariwen, which is a great band out of Africa. Just kind of a very nomadic, tribal sound with an electric guitar. I actually used their music for the intro for this video. I highly recommend checking them out. They're just absolutely phenomenal. The further we got into the desert, the heavier the vibe got. It's like we're going to this top secret military base where they will watch you as you approach. They know that you're coming before you even are in the area. And all of that research I did the 2 weeks prior to this trip added to that. And I'm so glad I did that, because it just added to the, I don't know what the word is, just the lore and the mysticism of this kind of a just a legendary place, stuff of legends. Folklore, Area 51, aliens. So it's like, this is fucking awesome. Listening to good tunes, driving out of Vegas, just having a blast. And we finally got to the white mailbox, which was one of the major landmarks. That is no longer there, apparently, but it was this steel mailbox that was thought to have been a big part of Area 51, dropping off messages and whatnot, but it was actually some poor farmer's mailbox that was littered with stickers and graffiti, but it is no longer there. But that is where you turn. You get off of that last main highway and you're on dirt road. And it is like a labyrinth of zigzagging, intersecting dirt streets littered with Joshua trees and cattle. And there's a 51 street sign, I think, and that kind of points you to the right direction. And that is the way into this thing. And we weren't even sure if we were on the right path, but we were in the middle of this wide open valley, and the road becomes very graded, very bumpy, almost like they were kind of deterring people from getting there. And way off in the distance, we see some dirt getting kicked up by a truck, way out there. We're like, what is that? And, you know, it was way over there, so we ignored it and kept pushing forward. And we finally arrived at some familiar landmarks from the YouTube videos that I saw, and there is all of a sudden this gate. It's not even a gate, it's like a sign saying, you know, no trespassing, military thing. And over in the hills, there's some motion detectors or cameras, or you can't tell what they are, but they're over there. And up on that fucking hill was a guard, as they call them in the Area 51 lore, is the camo dudes who are always watching. And this guy's up on the hill. My buddy had his binoculars, and he had his binoculars, and we were looking at him through our binoculars. And it was like, whoa. And I get out, knowing that this guy's watching me, taking this picture of a sign for a top secret place. Snapped a little picture of the sign. I think I got a picture of the camo dude. Then I got out. I like to collect dirt. I don't know, it's something I do. So I got out on the side of the car and dug up some dirt and put it in a bottle quickly, because I didn't want the guy looking at me saying, what the fuck is this guy getting into? Hung out for another minute and said, wow, we've seen it. Let's get out of here. And we went around too. There's another rear entrance that we went back to. And went back there. There wasn't anybody watching over there. But at that point, the sun was setting, and it was just such a great, you know, desert scene. in front of Area 51. And then we went out to dinner at the Alien. It was not too far from there, and met some locals, had some interesting conversations, and head back home. It was dark at that point, and we took one last look out over the mountain range there where the base was behind, which was restricted airspace. But if you looked up, you can see moving lights. Like must have been some kind of action going on up there. Don't know what kind of action, but something was going on over that restricted airspace. And then we zipped back home. In the darkness of night, we almost hit fucking some cows that were walking on the side of the road. I was driving, and my buddy was sitting in the passenger seat, and I mean, we came within this close of hitting some cows, black cows. So you can't even see them to the right there. And he jumped, and he's like, "I thought those were lions." And made it back home. Another couple days of Vegas, and got the hell out of there. But still, I can't believe that trip happened. It was something I recommend to anybody who's willing for a little of an adventure and a little risk. Because I can't promise you that those guys won't come down and get you. So there you have it. There's my Area 51 story. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I didn't forget anything. It was basically it. And yeah, desert driving with good music. Do it. Have a good one. Till next time. Cheers.